Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fun with Marge. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you had a very nice, easy, and productive week, and you're ready to now sit back with your crafts and have a little bit of fun this weekend. Today, what we're going to do is a card from Rooted in Nature. It's a thinking of you, is the sentiment that we're going to be using along with the small leaves. And this tree, which kind of reminds me of a walk in the woods. I just love it. We're going to talk about the design series paper and how we did the card. Here is a list of supplies, so please take a snapshot of this. It gives you your product numbers, the supplies that we'll be using, and the measurements that you need for your card. Please also note that the Rooted in Nature, the product number is for the bundle, which includes the dies, which is well worth the price, I must say. Rooted in Nature is a 2-box set that you can see that there are all different types of trees, leaves, sentiments, and even this nice piece of wood here. Looks like the inside of the trunk of the tree. So when you look inside, if you get the bundle, you get dies for almost everything, every stamp there is in the set, except for this piece of wood. So what we're going to use again is the tree, the small leaf, and the thinking of you sentiment. As far as the design series paper, the DSP, what we're using is called Nature's Poem. And I'll show you real quick. It has some of the loveliest colors. And I'm showing you the front and the back of each page as we go. This, of course, is what we're using today. And so this is a Blackberry Bliss and a Grapefruit Grove that's in there. And you've got Tranquil Tide and Mint Macaron. And in the background here, you've got Soft Suede. This one is one of my favorites. It's the Soft Suede and the Grapefruit Grove. I love those two colors together. And then I thought this was a perfect match here with the wood grain paper on the reverse side of this one. And then you have some with the stripes, so you can see how well they go together. Now, Stampin' Up, as smart as they are, also on the back of your end piece in the package, it gives you a list of cardstock colors that will match perfectly with all of the paper that's in your DSP package. So we'll put that aside and get started on our card. Just a mention is that please like the video if you like it, and leave me a comment and suggestions and things that you might want to see in the future on Fridays. And please share it with your friends and family so that we can share the fun. Okay, so here's the card, the finished card. So I thought it was just absolutely lovely, and it's really simple to do. So here's the supplies that you need again. This is a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock. It's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. You want to make sure that it is that you burnish both sides of that so you make a nice crisp fold to it. We also have a piece of Grapefruit Grove, and I used the layered leaves impression folder with it. So you kind of put it in like this, fold it over, run it through your Big Shot. I went ahead and did it in order to save us time. But if you have questions and you want to see that demonstration, let me know in the comments, and we'll do that in the future. There's the DSP that I used because I love the Blackberry Bliss and the Grapefruit Grove together. And then you have two pieces of Whisper White. This one is for the inside, which is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. and the small one here, which is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, so we'll start with the stamping on this. So we're going to do our trees. And we're going to do those in Blackberry Bliss. You're also going to want a piece of scratch paper because we're going to stamp off on a lot of it. So for the first tree, you want it to show up really well. And I'm kind of left-handed, so I'll do mine that way. Okay, so you want to get your stamp good and covered. Make sure you look at it to make sure it is good and covered. And then you're going to want to put it close to the bottom of your little piece of cardstock. Don't rock it, just place it and push, okay? And that comes out just lovely. So the next time we're going to want to stamp off a couple of times, go a little bit higher and stamp. Do that again and stamp on this side, okay? The next time through, we're going to stamp off 3 times, and we're going to come in here. And you see how that gets lighter every time. Looks like it's going back into the wilds. So now we got 4 times, and we just want a little tree there. And a little tree there. And I think that's good. Okay. We have, we still need that. So we have a new tool now. It's the chamois. Of course, mine looks like it's been through a lot, and it has. But it's really easy to clean your stamps this way. You just wipe them off, and you're done. And so it cleans them really well, and then you can just go right ahead and stamp in another color and without any difficulty. So keep that in mind as well. It's a nice tool to have. Okay, so in order to make it stand out and give it a little vintage look, I decided to use a sponge, and I do mine so that I mark my sponge with the cardstock color of the ink that I'm using, and then I can at a glance grab them. So we just want to go down here, and I like filling in the corners a little bit because I think that gives it a nice vintage look. And you just want to go all the way around. So I've been fighting allergies all week now. It's that time of year. I have spring and fall allergies. And so I've taken my medication, so hopefully it won't disturb us too much. Okay, and then we can set this aside and do the inside of our card. And you know, our card, remember, goes up and down, so we want to make sure that we have it in this in a portrait format. So we're going to take our sentiment. You want to make sure you get it inked good and have it in the right, oops, I smeared it. Good thing there's 2 sides to the paper, huh? So you want to do that like right in the middle. And again, no rocking, steady hand. Okay, and set that aside. And then we're going to do some of the leaves. The leaves, you want to stamp off about 3 times. And then stamp, because you only want it light. And, you know, just kind of move them around in different ways. Turn your stamp around the opposite direction. So you've got lots of options there. Let's see, maybe one more there. Okay, so then we're going to clean that off. And you'll see how well this works now, because I'm going to switch, use the same stamp. See how nice and clean that is? I'm using the same stamp, but I'm going to change the ink to Grapefruit Grove. If I can get it open. And don't mess my clothes up with it. We're also going to stamp off about 4 times. And then just fill in the blanks. Don't forget to turn your stamp around. So it looks like the leaves are falling. And I think that's maybe one more. Okay, one more. Right there. Okay, so now we have finished with the stamping part of what we're doing, and we'll put this aside. Clean my stamp so I don't forget. Definitely don't want to leave your stamps dirty. Okay. All right, so now let's put our card together. As I said, I used the layered leaves impression folder in order to make this card. And I don't know if you can see it, but it makes a beautiful impression. And you want to kind of turn it around and look at it and see which direction you want to place it in. I think I want this to be the top of the card because these leaves are going up and these are going up and these are going up, and I think it would show up better that way. So when you're trying to glue something like this to your cardstock, you're going to want to use your multi-liquid glue in order to get into those indentations so that you have the strongest hold to your cardstock. So we're going to line this up, make sure we have some nice edges here that are even. Okay. And we want to just hold that down for just a second because we use the liquid glue. We want to make sure that it sticks well. Okay, it has a chance to, because you know the liquid glue, you can actually move your paper around for a minute before it sticks to it. Okay, so then what we want to do is add our design series paper. I want to do it this way as opposed to this way because I want the Blackberry Bliss at the top. So you just kind of eyeball it and see what looks best to you in what orientation. Put a little snail on this one. And then you line it up with your Grapefruit Grove. And stick it on. Okay. Then with your trees, we want to add some nature's twine. So I kind of guess at how long it is. I mean, everybody does their bows differently, and I have some arthritic problems, so sometimes it can be a little challenging for me. And I'm left-handed, so we just want a little bow here. Some people I know put a little piece of a little glue dot there at the back of the bow, at the back of this part of it, in order to hold it in place. It's not such a bad idea. You know, and this is the thing too, is that I use a lot of the glue dots that I get from the Paper Pumpkin Kit. They're really handy, and they really make they really stay hidden. So they're just perfect for what we're doing here. So I want to stick that in there, so I can actually get my bow tied. And if you have a great idea about tying bows, please feel free to share. You know, your idea may work better than mine does. You know, we all share our ideas and our secrets, our crafting secrets. It makes a lot of difference when we're you just play with it till you get it the way you want it to be. Sometimes it takes a minute. Okay, so now we want to turn that over, and we want to put some dimensionals on the back. And I'm using 5 dimensionals because I want one in the center. I'm not big on using huge numbers of dimensionals, so you know, just enough to get the job done. Because obviously we don't want to waste our supplies, but we want it to look nice, right? So my week has been, I learned a little bit about videotaping this week. One of the big lessons I learned is to put your phone into airplane mode whenever you're videotaping. So you know, you want to put this right in the center of your card, and that's the outside of our card. Now for the inside of the card, we're just going to use the snail, because there's no lumps, no bumps, no, you know, anything to stop the snail adhesive from adhering to the cardstock. That I cut one end and not the other. And you just line that up and lay it down. And that's our card for today. So we will be doing another card this coming Friday, or 3D project. I believe I'm going to put together 3x3 cards with matching gift bags for Halloween for us. So be sure and tune in then. And again, please like and share the video so that we can grow. Thank you, and have a great weekend.